Hey guys, it's me, my face, and oh boy. I don't know if we're going to call it a happy dance or what, but it's brought to us by Bubbly. Because Bubbly is 0 points and it's in front of me. These are important factors. If you're new here, my name is Andrea, and this is a channel about cross stitch and other stuff. If you are a returning visitor, thank you. Welcome back. I've had a hell of a 3 weeks. I don't even know where I left off in our dialogue. My thought was that I was going to watch my last video and figure out where I left off. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. And I have no notes. So we're winging it. I have a few cross stitch things to show you, and then we will get into my bonkers update. Strap in. I always say things like the first thing that I worked on, and that is not accurate. These are in no particular order. It's just the first thing that I picked up. So the first thing I have picked up to show you is Heaven and Nature Sing. This is by Brenda Gervais. And I made a wee bit of progress all last night. I should actually preface all of this by saying my mania plans. No mania plans. It's done. It's June now. It's over. But this is what I only got to work on last night. And I have to remember which side to do things on. So what did I do? I did this whole tree, and I filled in a lot more of the body, and I brought the back leg down, and I filled in all up in here. I would have stitched probably for another, I don't know, 2 hours, 3 hours, but I started to get concerned. I am doing this 1/2 on 40 count. And my assumption was that a full skein of cocoa was going to be enough to do the whole deer. I'm down to one length, like 6-ply length of cocoa. That's not going to finish that deer. Unfortunately, I have had that skein of cocoa, I think, for quite some time. So I don't just want to order another skein and have it come and not quite match. Like, it doesn't have to match. I'm not that worried. But I do kind of want, this is not a particularly variegated skein of, wow, that just got really bright there for sure. Now I lost my train of thought. It's not a particularly variegated skein of cocoa, so I just want to make sure that what I end up with blends, at least. It doesn't have to match, but as long as it blends. So I don't just want to order one. I want to go to Stitch New England and audition them and hold up the strand that I have left and see if it will blend nicely. So kind of at a standstill. I mean, I could work on other parts of this, but I don't want to. So the next thing I worked on is Templar Prophecy. This is by Long Dog Samplers. And I know that I use the words renewed enthusiasm probably more than I should. But yeah, I kind of got into a rhythm over here and just started working this knotwork. I kind of reminded myself that, this is my project and I can do things in any order I want to do. So, I sat down and I didn't want to do this big, thick black band. It's 4 wide. So you know what I did? I did one down, like X amount of the way. And then I went over, and then I did some of this, and then I went up, and then I went some of that, and then I eventually ended up filling in the rest of that band. And it's fine. Look at that. It's like you can't even tell what order I did the stitches. Shocking. The last thing that I worked on is Moon Hare. This is from HAED. And this was frustrating. I was not at my best when I was doing this, and I will explain why, eventually. But essentially what I did was I picked out a color up here in the top of his ear. Let me see if I can, because I had convinced myself that for some reason I had stitched that color in 2 strands instead of 1 strand, because they all look like they were sitting up on top of the other, they were fatter than the other stitches. So I said, no problem. I will pick those out and restitch them. If you ever get it into your head to pick out a series of stitches in a HAED, put it down and walk away. Don't do it. Don't do it. You will become sad. I became sad. It was other stitches were sacrificed. Colors are no longer where they belong. It's a HAED. I don't think it matters, but I did it. I restitched it, and I think it looks better than it did. But yeah, it was quite a thing. And the back is now full of little fuzzy bits that I don't think they're ever going to go away. So I did do that. And then I managed to, Andrea, can you, I did this whole circle area and worked down here. So I managed to get a fair amount worked on. Because I'm not doing this square by square, it's a little tough sometimes to see the progress, but I was at least pretty pleased with the amount of time that I got to put in on this, because this was part of my mania. I just didn't technically work on it for mania. And that's it. That's all the stitching I managed in a few weeks. I did have the urge to start a couple of things and then didn't, and then got distracted, and then, story time in a little bit. So I just kind of ran out of time. But the first week of Mania, working on Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow, that worked out. That worked out really well. I got a lot done on that block, and it was a lot that I wasn't going to get done otherwise, because I was going to do it a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and I wasn't going to see any progress. I was going to get annoyed. You know what happens when I get annoyed? Nothing good. I did get 2 bits of haul. One cool and one super interesting. We're going to want to hang around for that. This is my Gentle Arts nest egg from 3 Owl Threads. This month I got Mountain Mist, Linen, Lavender Potpourri, Liberty, Mistletoe, which is quite the green, Lemon Drop, which is, there it is, yes, Mulberry, Maple Syrup, Harvest Basket, and Midnight, which is a nice blue. I like that. It's a very, I would use that on an American flag kind of blue. I'm always very pleased with what I get in my nest egg. I get them on time. Trisha she's a delight. So I highly recommend her for all things. Maybe I'll see what she's got for Coco. This is my other bit of haul. Before I get into this completely sealed package, this came from Emily C. If you do or don't know, every year she takes part in the Duck Derby. Her job is as an advocate in the court system for children in all manner of life situations. And I can only imagine that that is a thankless job and not the kind of job that, you know, when you close the laptop at night, I'm pretty sure that sticks with you. So to raise money for this organization each year, they sell rubber duckies for a duck derby. And as she does her fundraising, as you buy ducks, if you send her an email with the ducks that you purchased, she puts your name in for a drawing. Now, the drawing is, I don't think the word impressive says enough about what she organized. There were no fewer, I think, than 25 prizes, and big prizes. I mean, you can see the size of this. There were quilts. There were entire lines of floss and threads and fabric and just patterns that you just can't even imagine. I was overwhelmed. So I was thrilled when I got an Instagram message from her saying, you know, you won, go pick something. And she had them all set up in Facebook, and you basically went in and, you know, me pleased the one that you were interested in. I don't know how quickly these other people moved. It took me about 2 minutes to get there, and it was, I won't say it was slim pickings because there was just tons. There was tons to pick from, but everything I looked at was like already claimed, and I was getting a little, you know, disheartened. And so I finally said, you know what? Why don't we take this opportunity to pick something we wouldn't normally pick and see what happens? See what happens. It's a prize. It's free, Andrea. It's free. Just pick something. So I did. And this is it. And I haven't opened it yet because it came the other day and I haven't had a chance. And let's open it together. I'm going to tell you honestly, not that I forgot what I picked, but because I picked something that I wouldn't usually go for, you know, I'm not quite sure what's in here. All manner of things. Make sure we've got it all. All right, you guys. This is apparently Tree of Life Samplings by Jan Alexander, and it is a huge just pile of all her stuff. So let's just go through them. Well, first I will say, what did I get here? Oh, Tree of Life Samplings is an Etsy shop. So you can find, I assume, these and other things on Etsy. This also came with a, looks like a handmade or like a hand knotted scissor fob. Very cute. So what have we got? We've got Penny Prim's Spring. This is, I don't think we have too much glare. Penny Prim's, I love that bird. That bird is cute. And this is Penny Prim's Winter. This is Penny Prim's Summer. And in case you were wondering, Penny Prim's Autumn. Oh yeah, I'm going to do those. This is cute. This is wacky too. Look at them. Look at the wacky birds. Oh my goodness, all birds should be this wacky. They're so cute. These are older patterns. I only say that because like this one, Wacky 2, has, it's like an actual photo attached, which I don't think many people do anymore. And this one actually has 2017 on it. This is just one wacky bird. I like that it is helpfully labeled bird. I like that a lot. Then we have the sparrow. And I noticed like on the back of these, a lot of these have like Bible verses associated with them. I don't need to, you know, he is watching me. I don't need to stitch that part. That's not a big deal. But I love the house and the little person and the tree, so that's cool. This I like. Fade as a leaf. Martha Ann Sheffield, aged 8 years. 8 years old. You know what I was doing at 8 years old? Nothing. I was staring at a wall or something. I wasn't doing anything. I was probably playing a video game. She was creating something for the ages. This is Anna M's Teach Me. Let's see if I can... Teach me, oh. Doesn't say on the back what it is. Andrea, just show it to people. They don't care. It's fine. Look at the house. Look at the house and that grass. That's so cool. I think I chose well. I think I'm going to do a lot of these, and I think a lot of these will make nice giveaways. I think I did okay here. This is Pursue Love. Another really great house. This is Pursue Thanks. Oh, hi, look, it's a cat. Great. This is going to go really well. Hi. I'm going to need you to kind of chill out. I'm doing a thing. I need you to maybe not do that. No, there's nothing for you in it. Dante, okay. Tell you what, why don't you go do something? Go create a sampler. 8-year-olds can do it. You can do it. This is Sarah Steele, 1772. There's a lot of words. A lot of words. It's very pretty, though. Does this say? 2 things have I asked of thee, deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me the vanity of... Okay, there's a lot. There's a lot. There is a goat. Might be a deer. We'll see. This is cute. Emma Rose Christmas. That's just like a nice, kind of a simple little sampler. Very cute. And finally, True Faith. True Faith is humble contentment. It could be a thing. Again, I don't have to do all the words. I can put my own words in there. So that, I think, is an exceptional prize. I think I chose very well. Thank you very much. I think that Emily chose her prizes extremely well. So thank you, Emily. And thank you so much for doing a job that there's just so few people qualified to do. Thank you for taking care of those kids. So that is it for the stitchy things. What have I been up to? Okay, it's been a while. I'm trying to count back. Like 3 weeks ago, we went to my father's house and we kind of determined that he was not doing very well. He has COPD, and when it flares, there's a truck out there, it makes it very difficult for him to do anything for himself. He was having trouble getting out of bed, getting himself dressed and cleaned up, and making sure that he was eating, decent food. He was, opting for a microwave meal rather than making something for himself. And that was just dragging him down. So we ended up having him taken by ambulance to the VA hospital in West Roxbury, Mass. We cannot say enough good things about the VA hospital. And I know that I have heard just horror stories about the VA. And I think there's probably things that they do very well and things that they maybe don't do very well. We've been lucky enough that what my father has needed, they were able to provide. His room was nice. He was, seen by very attentive nurses and doctors, and they worked on, strengthening his lungs, put him on a steroids, things like that. But eventually, the flare kind of settles down, and they said, okay, well, we're ready to discharge him. And we said, he hasn't been out of a bed in a week and a half. He can't stand. He can't, go back to a house where he lives alone. Apparently the living alone part was a surprise to them. He hadn't quite mentioned that because, he's no fool. He knows that when you're a little old man, they won't send you home if they don't think that you can take care of yourself. So what they ended up doing was saying, okay, well, we'll send him to a rehab. Pick 4, kind of like you do with colleges, and decide, 4 that you really want to try to get him into. And what we do is we send out a request, and whichever ones come back and say, yes, we have room for him, then we'll pick somewhere to send him. So we did that, and we got a response from what we were told was a 5-star rehab. I haven't rated them just yet. So on a Monday, not this past Monday, but the Monday prior, they transfer him over there. And, everybody knows that, there's transitions and things like that. There's paperwork, whatever. But for whatever reason, they were extremely busy. They ended up not doing his intake until almost like 11 something at night. They woke him up to do it. I think we were lucky that he got dinner, that they knew he was, coming early enough that they had a dinner for him. So we kind of, I don't want to say we left him there, but we left him there. I mean, we, said goodnight and said, okay, so probably tomorrow they'll get started with whatever it is that you're supposed to do. And like the next day came and went, and we kind of talked to him and said, well, what did you do today? And, we went in to visit him, and he says, nothing. I haven't done anything. And he's in a Johnny. And we're like, we sent you with this big pile of clothes and all this. You've got everything clean. Why are you still in a Johnny? And he says, because nobody dressed me. Nobody came in to do anything with me today. So we went kind of talked to the nurses, and they were like, oh, yeah. PT's going to meet with him tomorrow and this, that, and the other thing. And okay, fine. So it seemed like every day there was a reason why when we would come in the evening, he wasn't up and around. In some days, he didn't seem quite himself. Not so much forgetful, but like telling a story that you say, I don't think that happened. I think you're confusing things that are going on around you and not quite getting the whole thing. So that was concerning. But, he started to say things like, the PT guys come in. It doesn't make any sense for them to say, come on, Bob, you need to stand up. He says, when I can't, I lose my breath. I run out of breath. I can't breathe. I'm too weak, this whole thing. So I said, well, I guess that's what they're going to work with you. Strengthening your legs and getting you upright and the whole thing. But after 3 or 4 days, it seemed really clear that they weren't doing a whole lot with him. So now Thursday night comes. And I actually went to a town meeting rather than going to visit my father. This was actually for the traffic commission because they got other stuff going on. And while I was there, I felt stuffy, like my nose was stuffy. And I thought, oh, I hope I'm not getting sick. It's probably just my allergies. I haven't taken my allergy pill in probably 3 weeks. I'll just go home and take my pill and rest and whatnot. And so I sat down and I was stitching and I said, oh, I'm feeling kind of gross and achy and this is terrible. So I took a COVID test and it was negative. And I thought, well, at least there's that. At least I got that going for me. So the next day was Friday. I woke up. I was feeling okay. I actually had that Friday off. It was the long weekend for Memorial Day. My sister took the day off. We met at his house. We got through like a whole bunch of his paperwork. We went out and bought file folders to keep everything neat while we're taking care of his stuff. Because he is still very much in control of his self, his finances, his medical, everything. He's in control here. We're just kind of doing the paperwork until he feels up to it. So we did that. We went and had lunch. We went and saw him. And I want to say probably as I was leaving there, I noticed when I was there that it was very hot. I was very hot. But I kept saying, is it really hot in here? And people were agreeing with me. Yes, it's very hot in here. It's okay. Driving home, I think I started to realize that I was sick. So I came home and I pretty much just curled up in the bed and I said, well, that's it for me today. And overnight, as I kept waking up, I knew I had the worst fever. I had the worst body pains. I was sick. And Saturday morning, I took another COVID test and confirmed that I did now have COVID. So fantastic. So I let my sister know. I'm like, great, you've been exposed. Enjoy yourself. 5 days of quarantine she has to do. 5 days of quarantine Mark needs to do because he lives with me. I called the rehab center and I said, I don't know who to report this to. I was visiting a patient this past week and now I've come up positive. And she says, golly, I don't know. Nobody's ever called in to let us know that they had a positive test before. I'm like, that would possibly be why I probably caught it there, because people seem to think that this is all over. Anyway, I said, please don't tell my father until I get to that I'm positive. I just, I don't want to worry him. But getting him to answer a phone is a challenge. So maybe not like 20 minutes later, a text pops up from my father and he says, his sister has tested positive for COVID. They're testing me now. I said, what makes you think it's her? No, they literally hung up the phone, walked into his room and said, one of your guests tested positive. So now we need to test you. And naturally he is positive. So we finally get it all straightened out over who's positive and who's symptomatic and the whole thing. But now this means that not only am I sick, so I have to wait until the first day I do not have symptoms, or 3 days past the last time I have a fever. There is a lot of algebra involved. Before I can go back out into the world masked and, head to toe, hand sanitizer. My sister has 5 days before she can test, or 3 days before that. There was a lot that went on. Either way, whatever happened, she ended up positive. He ended up positive. So for the past week, we haven't been able to go see him. As of Thursday, we got a message from the rehab saying that they were shutting down all visitation because half the floor has COVID. course they do. And naturally, all this time, luckily, even though he's positive, he has no symptoms, they haven't been doing anything with him. And so he has spent all this time in a rehab not rehabbing and not benefiting from being there, other than the fact that there's somebody to get him his meals and to make sure he gets cleaned up. But, he hasn't been able to do anything. And this has been unusually stressful to me, because if I weren't sick, I still wouldn't be able to do anything. And I a couple of times just wanted to get in the car and go and sit in the parking lot and be able to say to him, I'm 40 feet away, at least. There's somebody here. Because otherwise, he's all alone there, and he's bored out of his mind, and he's not getting any better. And now all he's talking is, I want to go home. We can't say no. But at the same time, he can't stay alone. There's so much. I think if you take away anything from my story, don't get COVID. So needless to say, I have not been that up to stitching. I have not been that up to YouTubing. I have not been that up to making YouTubes. I have just literally been laying in the bed and watching a lot of TikTok. A lot of TikTok. I guess the good news is as of today, my sister is out of quarantine. My father would be out of quarantine, except there are no visitors until at least tomorrow. We have to wait for them to let us know when they're letting people back in. But we haven't even had a conversation with his medical team, with the PT people, with the doctor, to say, this is what he needs. This is what he can get here. This is what he's going to need at home. This is the plan. There's no plan. There's no plan. And so I can say to myself, well, maybe what I should do is take tomorrow off, because let's all remember that I work full time while this is all going on. I can take tomorrow off and say, okay, I can be available to go in and meet. But I can't guarantee that they're even going to let me in, that, they're going to be seeing people. And when they finally do get around to making appointments, is it going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? How long can this last? It's frustrating. I mean, it's good to know that he is somewhere safe and where there's people taking care of him, but he's unhappy. This isn't a vacation. He's not so sick that he's at least able to just sleep the day away and say, well, there's people taking care of me and I'm getting my medication and this, that, and the other thing. That's just not it. He's just sitting there bored, watching television and not texting me back quickly because people love to make me crazy. So, that's where my stitch mania got derailed, was somewhere between the VA hospital and the having of the COVID, and just, I would like to say that hopefully, next week or 2 weeks from now, I can get back on schedule. I have no idea. I have no idea when I will be back on schedule, but I will be back. I will be back. I think what I have decided is with all the giveaways that I want to do, I think I'm going to make just a dedicated video to that. And I will hold up each thing. We will give it a description. It will, there'll be a Google form. You just tick off the ones that you want to be part of the giveaway for, and we will work it out from there. Guys, this is not going to be Publishers Clearinghouse. Okay, just going to do a casual giveaway, and we're just going to give away a ton of stuff. Get it out of my way so that I can work on the stuff that I want to work on, and I can start the things I want to start without all this stuff weighing me down. So keep an eye out for that. Speaking of keeping an eye out, did you see my fancy new glasses? Can you see the flowers and the skulls? You can't see them from there? Hold on, let me take them off and show them to you. Look at how cool this is. These are, I can't see what you can see. These are Hare eyewear. If I have one of those little discounty code things, I'll put it below. You buy the glasses. They're pretty normally priced prescription glasses with just a basic frame. And then you can get these little, magnetic things that stick on, and you can have all different ones to, play with. I have another set that they're just the black rims, but they're the sunglasses. So now I have prescription sunglasses. I have never had prescription sunglasses. This is cool. I like this. All right, I think that is enough from me this week. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Sometimes I wonder why you keep watching, but I am truly thankful that you do. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your likes and even your dislikes. And thank you for your comments. You are constant and you're too good to me with the amount of feedback that I am able to give you. I do read them all. I appreciate them all, and I will try to work through them all. I promise. Thanks, guys. Bye.